Disney is about to release their live-action version of The Little Mermaid. Of course, this is the latest in their series where they take beloved animated classics from their collection and remake them in live action or sometimes CGI that's just meant to look like live action. I used to actually think these were a really good idea. I remember being really excited leading up to the release of Beauty and the Beast in 2017. I went to go see that film in IMAX on opening night, and that's probably the last time I've ever done that for a film. But I think, like a lot of people, I've been pretty disappointed by them. And a big part of that comes down to the music. I mean, I grew up with a lot of these animated films, so a lot of these songs are kind of embedded into my soul. And I have yet to see a live-action Disney remake that manages to capture the magic of the songs from those animated classics. A lot of this, of course, is casting. I mean, if you're not going to cast someone who can actually sing in the role, then you're just not going to be able to have them perform the songs with the kind of expressiveness and emotion that is going to make their character compelling. Beauty and the Beast is a really great example of this. I mean, the songs in that soundtrack are pretty flat, and there's a lot of really noticeable auto-tune. And the songs are such like a huge part of these characters' arcs. Usually they represent like pivotal moments for them, where they're expressing their deepest desires or going through a major turning point in their character. If you don't have the ability to convey those major turning points in the character with the kind of tension or drama and expressiveness that the character calls for, then you're just missing out on a really important part of the storytelling. So something I've often thought is like, why wouldn't they just have an actual singer sing the songs for the movie? It's not like the actors are being recorded singing live on set anyway. Like, they're recording in the studio and then that's being laid into the movie afterwards. So it would be the exact same process if they just got an actual singer to sing the songs, and then you wouldn't be missing out on that important part of the storytelling. So I was really happy to see that for The Little Mermaid, they cast an actual singer in the role of Ariel, Halle Bailey from Chloe x Halle. And earlier today, I saw they released Halle Bailey's version of Part of Your World from the soundtrack. So yeah, I'm excited to check it out.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything?
Okay, awesome. First of all, I guess I'm just really relieved that she can actually sing it. There's no auto-tune here. She's giving it a lot of nuance. It's expressive, and that's exactly what you would want to hear from these songs. I guess it seems like a low bar, but because we've been disappointed time and time again from these remakes, it's just really relieving to hear that.
Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here, you think, show her, she's got everything.
Yeah, something I'm noticing is that she sounds, I would say, noticeably younger than Ariel from the animated version. I guess it's not something that I really thought about before, but Ariel in the animated version definitely sounds older than she's supposed to be, which I think maybe introduces a little bit of dissonance between the fact that she's supposed to be quite innocent and young, but her voice has a little bit more wisdom imparted into it. Halle Bailey's voice definitely sounds younger, and I think it is imparting a lot more of that innocence and kind of wide-eyed, hopeful nature of her character.
You want thingamabobs? I got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I wanna be where the people are. I wanna see them dancing.
Okay, yeah, they're doing a really good job here with the instrumentation. It's a lot more lush than in the original animated version. I think that's what you would expect out of like a live action remake. It should feel like it's on a grander scale. It should feel more, I guess, cinematic, or give that kind of grander sense to the world. The dynamics are really good here. This part where they kind of have the lush strings just really building up and then suddenly dropping down. Halle Bailey's holding that holding that note really powerfully, and then able to suddenly come down and sing a much more sensitive line, which really kind of takes you on this journey here.
Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down a, what's that word again? Street, up where they walk.
Okay, yeah, this is the kind of like expressiveness that I'm talking about that is missing usually from these Disney live action remakes. When you have someone in the role who can actually sing, then they're not worried about just staying on rhythm or staying on pitch, being distracted by all of those parameters that as a performer you shouldn't be distracted by. Rather, she can actually focus on the character's perspective, the meaning of the lyrics, and adding some of the inflections or just nuance that really communicate that character.
Up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give?
Okay, I'm actually not sure if this is a change from the original here. But there's this kind of noticeable minor 6 chord there. I guess it would be like the minor 4 of the song, but it's like a minor 6 chord. You hear this chord a lot in trailers. Usually it's used to build up to like a climax. And I've heard Disney use it a couple other times too, noticeably in the Christina Aguilera song Reflection in Mulan, but they kind of really overused it in the version that they did for the Mulan remake, and that kind of started getting me a little bit like sick of the overuse of this chord here. So hearing them use it here makes it feel, I don't know, kind of like a gimmick. I don't know, I'll have to look and see if that's actually something that they changed from the original, but yeah, I definitely noticed that.
Live out of these waters. What would I pay to spend a day while I'm on the sand? Betcha on land.
Okay, so maybe this is being kind of picky here, but I feel like it's dragging a little bit. And this has nothing really to do with the singing. It's more of just how the pacing is matching the vocals. You can feel a little bit that the song is supposed to have some forward momentum here, and that she wants to carry that forward momentum through the vocals, but is kind of being pulled back by the more rigid tempo of the instrumentals. If anything, what you would want is for the instrumentals, which is kind of underscoring this scene, to be pushing it forward and creating that forward momentum, which would allow the singer to sit back a little bit, still kind of explore a lot of that nuance and expressiveness, but still have that forward momentum and energy in the song. Yeah, like I said, maybe it's a little bit picky. It's just something that I'm usually pretty conscious of because I'm often like tempo mapping things and recording background parts that I'm gonna record a melody on top of later. I usually don't want it to feel like really rigid.
Bet they don't reprimand their daughters. Bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand. Ready to know what the people know.
Yeah, really powerful voice, and you can just tell that she has this kind of mastery over the dynamic range where she can go from more like breathy and frustrated to opening up really quickly and then going into like a much more soaring melodic line.
Ask 'em my questions and get some answers. What's a fire and why does it, what's the word, burn? When's it my turn?
Okay, pacing feels a lot better in this section actually. This is kind of just what I was talking about before, where the instrumentals shouldn't be like holding things back. It's underscoring the energy, so it should feel like it's moving things forward and then giving the vocalist room to explore within that. So yeah, it's matched a lot better here where Hallie's got this kind of room to open up, room to be really expressive, and it doesn't feel like it's lacking that forward momentum.
Wouldn't I love to explore that shore above us?
Okay, yeah, wow. Really, really powerful. I'm so glad they got someone with chops like this to play Ariel. That ascending line there is just such a great showcase for her skill and for the power of her voice. I guess I'm a little bit conflicted because it is another example of them leaning into that like minor fourth chord that I said earlier sometimes feels a little bit like a gimmick, but obviously the main showcase is her vocals, and it's showing that off really well.
Wish I could be part of that
Okay, yeah, I really loved it. This kind of has me wondering whether this is actually the version that's going to be in the movie versus this being a version that's just on the soundtrack, and then in the film they have like a slightly different version. There's certain moments, I guess, like her doing that run at the end, where I guess it doesn't really feel like something that the character would do, or it doesn't feel like something that would be fitting in the moment that she's singing it in the film. But that's more of like a version that you would imagine a singer doing in the studio or on the stage. So I guess that is also just something that overall I'm interested in, is like how will they do the adaptation? How much will, I guess, it feel like a stage performance versus a more intimate like film performance. But Halle Bailey's rendition of the song is pretty incredible, and I'm really relieved that they got her to play this role, someone who can actually sing and is actually a really incredible singer, to take you on this journey with Ariel and take you into the perspective of her character. There's a lot of other, classics on the soundtrack here that I hope will be just as good. Obviously, Poor Unfortunate Souls, I'm really interested in hearing that. So yeah, let me know what you thought about Halle Bailey's rendition of Part of Your World, and maybe just your thoughts on how Disney's been approaching these live action remakes and their soundtracks so far. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.